You guys got me? See me? I'm going to prop these up a little bit. We live and in charge? Wish I could get these. Know how I get these in the picture more. What up? What up, what up, what up? Another day? Another 50 cents? A lot going on today. Well, not really. It's kind of slow time. We got some, Greg Papa, Gary Radnich, some movement going on in the Bay Area with, superstars. Big Gary Radnich guy. I love Gary Radnich. He's a fucking man. Papa going over to the Niners, ripple effect. We'll go over all of that. Ton of NBA free agency move. Potential movement. This week we have some guys that need to opt in or opt out of contracts. Some team options, some player options. Bob Myers. You know what Bob Myers looks like? You can see it on his face. Just worn the fuck out. I don't know how much more he can take of being the front man, being the main spokesman when you just deal with the Us Weekly stuff. And he's a former agent. He's a good-looking dude. He's just used to all the BS. Even he looks worn out. And I don't blame him. This is exhausting. He looks exhausted. And Mickey Callaway. One thing I appreciate about the Northeast, baseball around here is no one gives a fuck when you suck. The Giants' ratings are down. Not on the radio, actually. The baseball on the radio is a great product because even when you suck, it sounds the same. I'm in the car. I turn on John Miller. He sounds the same, win or lose. Same with Dave Fleming, Dwayne Kuiper. They sound the same. But on television, it's an unwatchable product. The television ratings, in the shitter. Radio ratings, fine. Now, they're not great because the team's not great, but it kind of unaffects the product. Mickey Callaway, I appreciate that baseball in the Northeast is covered like a war zone. It's covered like football. There's a standard to it. I'm a big believer that one of the reasons the Giants suck right now because the standards around here are lower. The standard is not the Yankees, the Phillies, the Red Sox. Standards are low. And it's tolerated. And I think a big part of it is our culture's changing, and baseball is just the third banana. Basketball and obviously football are the cream of the crop. If the Niners are good this year, they're going to flex their muscles and they're going to be bigger than the Warriors. It's the way this area works. Now, and they'd be big for my business. I talk a lot about them. I fucking need them to be good. I will make a lot more money, and I'm open. I'm not a journalist. I'm a capitalist. I want them to be good because it impacts my bank account. So I'm rooting for them to win. I don't mind the Raiders. Raiders, unlike the Niners, people care when they lose. Their fan base is a little like the Northeast. They can lose and still be an interesting topic to me. The Niners aren't like that as much because their fan base is much more representative of the Giants fan base that they get apathetic fast when you lose. That last year, Jimmy going down was bad for my business. It wasn't good for my business at all. When Jimmy came 2 years ago, those 5-game stretch, my fucking numbers, our numbers, Haberman Middlekauff, podcast out right now, Peter Schrager, our guest today, Peter Schrager, Haberman Middlekauff. We had Daniel Jeremiah on Friday, Peter Schrager right now. We actually taped him, a little evergreen, kind of like PM, Pardon My Take did, because Haberman's in Hawaii. Some of us are working. Did a couple sales calls today on the grind. Haberman's fucking vacationing. Well deserved. Also, 3 and Out podcast. Again, I got bills to pay. 3 and Out podcast. Be out tomorrow. Working on it right now. Not really working on it. I haven't started it. But I have some ideas already down, pen to paper. The creative juices are flowing. Started with easewellness.com. Easewellness.com. Promo code HAM. Go get your CBD. Easewellness.com. Promo code HAM. Easewellness.com. Promo code HAM. Go get your CBD. They got doggy treats. They got bath bombs. They got these mind creators. Just take a couple drops. Boop, 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 boop. And then your mind is just moving. My mind's always moving, but I get those. It's like when Vin Diesel supercharged that little fucking car that he had in Fast and the Furious. You feel the nitrous. Whew, and it just takes you to another level. Again, it's why I feel it's a PED. It's an advantage I have over my competition using CBD. The great part is anyone can use these PEDs. Easewellness.com. They deliver all over the place. Easewellness.com. Promo code HAM. I got to see. I think we got like 3 sponsors this week. Lucrative week for the pod and the Periscope. Very lucrative week. Also, really quick, before we get into Greg Papa, hairclub.com. I didn't choose this life. It chose me. Again, I'm a good-looking bald guy, but it wasn't by choice. It was genetics, really. And like many of you that are probably receding, I didn't recede. My hair just literally fell out. I remember being in college, looking at my desk, and I had like a hair mound. And I'm like, I'm fucked. My dad was bald. All my uncles, my family were all bald. I knew I was screwed. So I fought it. But unlike when I was going bald in like 08, 09, 2010, there wasn't hairclub.com/ham did not exist. Hairclub.com/ham did not exist. And again, all I need you to do, go to hairclub.com/ham and sign up. If you're having any insecurities about your hair, your receding hairline, just go to hairclub.com/ham. Again, it's free. I just need you to sign up. Then what you do from there is on you. I just need you to sign up. That's how you support and keep this Periscope going. Because again, it's expensive to live in this fucking place. I mean, sales tax is through the roof. I got, property taxes. You just get bent over at every turn here in the Bay Area. I feel for the common guy. I don't know how you support a family without making like 500 grand around here. I really don't. The sales tax, underrated thing in this area. It's like, okay, you have more money, you go buy something. Well, if you buy something worth $500, that costs $600. Everything costs more. I feel for the common guy. And if you're the common guy, you don't need to be bald. Because again, I just accepted this. And even though I've thought about coming back, maybe doing a little Joe Buck hair transplant, hairclub.com/ham. How can you be a server around here and survive, for example? You can't. Let's start with Greg Papa leaving. First and foremost, Gary Radnich retired. I'm a big Gary Radnich guy. He's the biggest name in the history of Bay Area radio, him or Tolbert. And it's probably him, though, because Tom was a basketball player first and was super famous off the court, so there's a little more. And I'm a big Tom Tolbert guy. He's cool as fuck to me, too. But Gary's like a true media personality at his core. And I got to reach out to Gary because my dad, who passed away last year, the one thing he used to always say, I heard you on Gary Radnich. I heard you on Gary Radnich. I heard Gary Radnich say something. And that meant a lot to him. He heard Gary Radnich say my name. And Gary has always been cool as shit to me. Absolute legend in this area. Again, this area is unique. Like Mike and the Mag Dog and like Miss and Ellie and guys in Philly, it's much more adversarial. Really, like I'm a Northern California guy, but I got along well in Philly because I'm pretty adversarial and I like talking shit. But I do have, like, at my core, I don't think you shake the West Coast. Like, if you're from the West Coast, there's something that just changes us differently than the people in the Northeast. Though we can have similar characteristics. And I appreciate it. I just thought he was an absolute legend. Everyone knew his name. Everyone knew who he was. You said his name. He resonated with people. And he was just unique. He was just a unique personality. Him going up 70 years old. I mean, fuck. I hope I get to work in the media for 50 years or however long he did it. Absolute legend. Hopefully I get to talk to him in the next couple weeks and just tell him, like, I know it meant a lot for my dad to hear him say my name on the radio. Now, I'm a millennial. Like, I do huge numbers on the internet. So I'm someone that's not as fazed by you saying my name on the radio. I turn down a lot of radio hits now because I don't think they really matter. I reach more people doing this than I would necessarily on a radio hit, unless you're like Colin Coward. But I know for people locally, and I'd have people like go back to Davis and play golf. People are like, oh, I heard you on KNBR. Like, that shit still matters because KNBR is the biggest signal out here by far when it comes to sports talk radio. I used to be able to listen to it when I was in San Luis Obispo and being able to listen to it on, not online, in my car. From San Luis Obispo up to Tahoe. And one of the best local radio shows I've ever heard, arguably the best. Tony Bruno had one when I lived in Philly. Him and I think Harry Mays. It was the funniest fucking show I've ever heard in my life. Like, it was absolutely incredible. Most people in the Bay Area know Tony. I mean, he's the best. I think Papa and Lund are as good of a local radio show. I don't listen to local radio, really. I will listen to that show. I definitely will. And I've seen a lot of people say this on some of the replies, just on people on the internet, like, they need to tone it down with their childish acts. I know this for a fact. If you play to the PC crowd and don't push the envelope, you will fucking lose in this business. Do you know what most people in life talk about? Friends and just whoever, any walk of life, is sex. And I think they had a lot of sex talk. Well, guess what? They did enormous ratings on Oakland station. Imagine what they're going to do on KNBR. You know what people yearn? There's a reason Howard Stern's the biggest radio host in the history of America. What is the premise of Howard Stern's show? Sex. What does literally every person talk about, do, or think about? Sex. Like, I'm sorry, the PC crowd's like, they are crossing the line! Yeah, again, I've never met a human, I'm not friends with anyone where that doesn't come up. Everyone talks about it. It makes people laugh. Like, sex is a talking point that literally every person, they're either doing it, talking about it, or thinking about it. It's just a fact. You know, the most clicked on websites are sex. So I think that talk is going to be something a little new to KNBR, but it's going to be refreshing, mixed in with football and sports. But I always love when they need to tone down their antics. And what, talk about the PC crowd and get fucking demolished? Because one thing's clear, and we've seen this over the last 4 or 5 years, when you placate to the PCs, the PC bros, they want you to keep everything just like in between the lines, not veer off, just call owners, governors, you will lose. Like what Adam Silver's doing in the NBA, as a diehard NBA guy, someone that people think like, oh, you hate the NBA, you're always talking shit. I consume the NBA at a rate 99% higher than most basketball fans. I'm watching multiple games a day for 6 months. And I think Adam Silver's down a slippery slope right now, calling the fucking owner of the team a governor. Like, one, I didn't go to Webster's.com, but pretty sure a governor is an elected official. The guy literally paid money to own the team. Like, when did owner become a negative thing? Everyone in the NBA is aspiring to own something. A home, a business, their own life. You know, we all aspire. That's the great part about this country. The reason this country is the best place on earth by a country mile. Now the PC crowd on Twitter will tell you, America sucks! Yeah, actually, it's the only place in the world where you literally can start with nothing and be on the fucking top with everything. And a big part of that is because anyone eventually can own whatever they want. You know, there are no constraints to it. Now, it doesn't mean it will happen, but it's possible. Do you know that the majority, the heavy majority, like 90% of the billionaires in this country are self-made? You see the percentages on people worth $100 million and more? Self-made. That's the great part about this country. And that's what all these basketball players, most of them, again, self-made. A lot of them did not come from much. Same thing with the NFL. You aspire to make it and to own. I own this condo. It's a powerful thing. Until my fucking HOA fee comes and you're like, fuck, this sucks. Or my plumbing goes out and I gotta pay for it. But owning it, it's a big deal. You know, I get write-offs. You know, hopefully, you know, I've made about 6 figures in 2.5 years, no big deal. Did overpay a little bit, but hey, it's Bay Area. Like, that's what we all aspire to do. Own a car, you know, own whatever. And to not call it I'm honestly offended by Adam Silver even taking that stance. If you're not offended as an American, I honestly don't think we have much in common. I think it's offensive to take that word away. And I think a lot of these players, I saw like a bunch of players like, what the fuck are we doing? Steven Jackson's like, this is bullshit. We all want to own. Again, you play to the PC crowd, you get destroyed. Destroyed. And that's what I love about Papa and Lund, is they don't play that. And I'm not like saying like, oh, racism. Everyone I've ever met hates racism. You know, so again, you play on Twitter. That guy I saw, I don't even know his name. There was someone that tweeted about Cam Newton. The reason that old guy did not take Cam Newton's money was because he didn't want to empower the black guy. It was just the craziest take I've ever seen in my life. I honestly didn't even want to quote the tweet. I couldn't help it. Like I've actually gained a lot of discipline when it comes to Twitter. I couldn't restrain myself on that one. The most ludicrous take I've ever heard. One, if you buy business class or first class, that means you've spent a little more money on the seat, right? So you spent, if you're going to wherever, it was a 10-hour flight, so if they're going to LA to France or wherever the fuck they're going, I don't know, South Africa, Dominican Republic, I don't know where you're going. But if you paid a lot for a price, like people keep asking me, like, what would you give up to be sitting there? I wouldn't have had that seat. I would have been in economy. I can't afford that. But if I could afford that seat, pay $2,000 for the seat, I ain't fucking giving my seat up for $1,500 to sit in a city legroom seat. To me, and I tweeted this, the price of admission to get me to talk would have been like $3,000. That even feels low. To me, $5,000, I'll move. $3,000, I'm thinking about it, maybe we can get to $4,000. $1,500 is offensive. So I tell the race baiter to go, yeah, not only did it have nothing to do with race, Cam's offer, which again, the great part about capitalistic society, you can make an offer for whatever. You can walk up, knock on my door right now, and offer me money for this condo. Fuck, if your number's right, I'll move out tomorrow. Be yours. But if you fucking lowball me, I'm saying no. And all the guy said was no, I'm not moving. That's a great part about just the way our market economy works. You can literally offer money for fucking anything beside humans. And it's like, I'm offended by that guy's take, so I'm offended by that guy's take. I'm offended by Adam Silver, who literally should offend most Americans in the fucking poor communities, the rich communities. That's his take is offensive. Even Mark Cuban was like, yeah, it's no big deal, but like internally we can call ourselves whatever. Like Mark Cuban, who came from nothing, rode the internet wave, became a billionaire, and bought the Mavericks. Do you know how many people, I admire Mark Cuban. I have nothing but admiration for Mark Cuban and someone you aspire to be like, you know? Most players, I would imagine, that have played for the Mavericks be like, I would aspire to be successful like Mark Cuban. I aspire to be an owner, whether it's of an NBA team, whether it's of my own company. Like, that is a positive. I even get work. It just fucking feels creepy even talking about this. What the fuck is Adam Silver doing to the NBA? And I'll tell you, he's listening to the PC crowd. And that will lose every time because it's playing to, and especially on Twitter, the ultimate minority, like the tiny little group. But they're so fucking loud, they never stop screaming. It's like, you know how you shut them up? You just sign off. Something I've gotten a lot better at. You just sign off. Because I am the type guy that gets triggered at the triggered takes. Because most of the triggered takes are so PC, fluff bullshit that it's hard to take. Not being able to call like Joe Lacob, I can't call him the owner. He literally bought the fucking team with a group of other owners. Like, that happened. That's not, we didn't make any of that up. That literally happened. He is not the governor of the team. He owns the Warriors. He owns the Warriors. Which, again, is not a negative. And I think this is the NBA. Again, I'm not an NBA hater. I'm a lover of the sport. You could make the argument that basketball is my favorite sport. Played it growing up. Wasn't any good. Played it up until probably a couple years ago. Consistently pickup games. I love playing hoops. I love watching basketball. Yeah, I like watching a random basketball game typically more than a random average football game. Because random average football games aren't that fun to watch. A basketball game, I can get a shitty basketball game and watch a guy go for 50. Like, to me, it's much easier for something cool to happen in a shitty game in basketball than it is football. And at the end of the day, I probably like golf the most. But again, my rankings are all relative. I consume a lot. That's why I have to do this as a living. It's really all I consume, besides some Netflix shows. But I think my ultimate point is basketball has to be very careful with the road they're going down. It's why the NFL, and they triggered so many in the media, wanted to separate from Colin Kaepernick. Not because of the message. The NFL has made more African-American millionaires than any other business in the history of America, and again, it's not close. And as you've seen, like, Colin Kaepernick did get blackballed. Now, they paid him off. But there's a lot of other guys in the league doing that and kneeling still, and it's not that big a deal. They don't care. Like, Kenny Still's been doing it from the jump. He still has a job. So what the NFL wanted to do is they want to get out of politics. They just want to fucking play football. You know why? Because that's what the consumer wants. Again, that's what the consumer wants. There's a reason that the consumer gets overwhelmed with the political stuff on Twitter. It's just overwhelming. Listen, I like politics, kinda, but I have to turn it off. Like, I don't watch political shows, but on Twitter, like, I'll follow it or whatever. Every other day, it's just like, Jesus Christ. I can't even take this. It's a little too, it's all negative, you know, and I've tried to be a much more positive person in my latter years of life. So, and the common guy who works way harder than me, that's fucking doing who knows what, working 10-hour days away from his family, gets home, and he has to hear politics from LeBron James and Adam Silver and the NFL. It's why the NFL realized, I got to get the fuck out of this. And Adam Silver's like bear hugging it. And I think you got to be very careful, man. Because I think they're headed down a slippery slope that is going to turn a lot of, I mean, we've seen the ratings. It's turned a lot of people off. You know, they're just, shut up. We don't want to hear it. Just fucking play. And everyone got mad when they said shut up and dribble. And again, like, shut up and play football. Shut up and do whatever you're doing. Like, that's why I'm here. That is why the consumer is there. The NBA has gotten very bad at consumer relations. And I think the NFL has really had to work on that. Baseball just doesn't even matter. But you got to, like, the NFL and the NBA, I think they've lost touch. The NFL knows it and they've worked to get it back. But the NBA is living in their own little elitist world. You got to be careful about turning off the consumer, because at the end of the day, the fan is the consumer and they equal all the money. Every penny. I say it all the time. Every penny that these guys make in the front office, on the court, the owners, all come from fans. Whether attending the games, watching the games, buying the shit, consuming this shit, talking about it. It's just a revolving door of cash, which is a good thing. But you can't treat them like shit. Now, I'm not saying you got to be Jeff Bezos and kiss their ass and do everything possible for them. But I would be much closer to Bezos than I am forcing shit down their throat. Because you force shit down my throat as a consumer. And again, I do this for a living, so I'm going to watch no matter what. But the common guy might just be like, I don't even give a fuck. I'll just watch a movie. You know, I can't take this. Like, that shit's real. You know, and don't let the media, who is ultra sensitive and ultra politically just on one side, let's call it what it is, the majority of them, we've seen studies, we just follow them, are extreme liberals. Not in the middle. The majority of people are just somewhere in the middle. They don't even want to. I'm in the middle. I don't really want to talk about politics. I'd rather talk about, like, where's Kevin Durant going? Is Amari Cooper really going to go for 2,000 yards? But the media won't let it die. It's why I feel like a huge disconnect. And again, I think I've been able to build up a decent audience because that's what people want. Just fucking talk about Amari Cooper. You know, just talk about free agency. Meanwhile, they're banning the word owner. And the great part about this year of free agency, do you know the thing about this year in free agency? You know the crazy, I've been thinking about, like, the NBA and the NFL free agency sucks because there's a lot of player movement, but they're all average players. Like, when's the last time an elite player hit free agency? Ndamukong Suh? You know, I mean, it is a very, very small window of top players ever hitting this live. It just doesn't happen. This is live, yes. And I think in the NFL, it's a very team-friendly league, which means it's a very fan-friendly league because fans care about their team before they care about their players. That's just a fact. Like, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, even if you love a player, you care about the Cowboys first and foremost. That was your first love. So, but Odell didn't leave as a free agent. He got traded. He was not a free agent. I would not get rid of the franchise tag. The franchise tag is a positive for the consumer. And it's not a big, you know, the player gets paid. So the player does. Name me the last time a player on a franchise tag got fucked. I'll hang up and listen. You won't be able to find one. They're not really getting screwed. It's a double whammy. You're going to be closer to free agency and you're getting paid. The franchise tag is awesome. I agree. Oh, you can't see mine. Good call there. What did Iguodala say that no one's going to the Knicks? I think he's a little more bullish on Kevin Durant than myself, but maybe you know something. People want to see me take a hit, but I got to record a podcast. And it's a nighttime deal for me to get the juices flowing. Yeah, what are they going to find Iguodala for? For making fun of the Knicks? Come on. Charles Woodson got tagged 3 times. I agree. Who is New York going to get? I just don't see who they're going to get. If Kevin Durant doesn't go there, they're fucked. Wait, they're not even necessarily fucked. Like, I like Kevin Knox. They got RJ Barrett. They'll get another top pick next year. Just it's a slow and steady build. You just missed out on Kevin Durant, who couldn't even have played this year anyway. So it's like, if you were only going to get Kevin Durant, if he doesn't come, it really doesn't screw you until next year. Like, this year, it doesn't impact anything. Thoughts on the report KD met with Kyrie in the Bay while rehabbing the calf? Wouldn't shock me. I think him and Kyrie are in cahoots. I also think that him and Kyrie, and I know Russillo's talked about this a lot, maybe with Simmons or one of those guys that, like, I think a lot of guys in the NBA think they're friends because they really haven't spent that much time together, but they DM a lot. Maybe they talk on the phone or text, but they really don't know each other that well. It's kind of like a loose friendship. And if you actually, like, being on a team with someone, then you either hate them or like them, right? Like Wade and LeBron on a team together, they love each other. Same with Bosh. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, type fucking like Iguodala, like this. I think you see a lot of relationships like Karl Anthony Towns wants D'Angelo Russell. You got Kevin Durant wants to be like Kyrie. But would they really like each other if they played together all the time? Like, is Kevin really going to like Kyrie never playing any defense? It's one thing that drove LeBron nuts. Like, bro, you going to fucking guard anyone ever? Like, it's okay in January, but in the playoffs, can you move your feet? Again, all you have to do is go to one basketball camp. Obviously, you need to be, a high-level athlete to play in the NBA. But if you're a bad defender in the NBA and you're a good player, that means you do not try on defense. Like, why is Kyrie a bad defender? Because he gives zero effort. He's a great player on offense. Again, would he ever be a great defensive player? No. But would he suck as bad as he did if he just tried? Hell no. We've seen James Harden. Like, when James Harden tries, he's not bad. You can't back him down. He's got long arms. He can fucking steal a ball. Again, like, you just gotta, move your feet. Defensive stance. It's not that complicated. It really, playing defensive back in the NFL is really hard. It's about technique. It's about having an idea of what patterns they're running. It's about, getting out of your stance with the proper footwork. It's difficult. But if I'm just guarding someone one-on-one, and I'm Kyrie Irving, and I'm guarding fucking Mike Conley, if I just try, it's going to be tiring, but I try, he's not going to just kick my ass. If you just try a little. Now, you're never going to be Jason Kidd, but you're not going to be some stiff. Move the feet, baby. Move the feet. In retrospect, Kyrie's career without LeBron was not good. I would agree. It's been underwhelming for an all-time great talent. I think that's fair to say. Because he's an all-time great offensive talent. And I think one thing we've learned, you take him away from LeBron, he's more like a Stevie Francis type player. Tracy McGrady was obviously a different position, but just put up a lot of stats. And Tracy's probably a higher level guy, but and Tracy probably tried harder. Marbury, something like that. It's just what the fuck's going on here? Even AI. I wouldn't even put AI and Kyrie in the same sentence. Can you imagine if AI at his peak would have had a teammate like LeBron? AI tried. For 7-8 years in AI's career, he gave you everything he had. I watched Kyrie, he's not even trying. I'll never forget going to a Kings game with AJ Riding, now coach at Sac State, Arco Arena. I think AJ's dad was there, and maybe we had one other buddy. And they played the Sixers. And this is 97, 98. The Kings were terrible. I don't even know if the Sixers were that good yet. AI was a second-year guy. He dropped 50. This is at Sac, when Sac sucked. Was terrible. In 2019, there's no way AI plays in that game. He not only played, I vividly remember, he just went fucking nuts. And he tried so hard. And it was you know what? That's one thing I miss about the NBA, is it used to mean something as an away fan. And anyone in the Bay Area can relate. Because the Warriors and the Kings, for the majority of my life, sucked. So you went to those games. Arco was probably easier to get into than Oracle, but at the end of Oracle wasn't that difficult to get into when they sucked. And maybe it was difficult because SeatGeek and some of that shit didn't exist, but now it's never been easier. You'd go to watch other players. So it's okay, I'm going to go to the Bulls to watch Michael. I'm going to go watch, whoever. KG, AI. I knew I was getting that team's best effort. And I don't think you get that anymore. And as a consumer, I used to beg my dad, I want to go to the game to watch this guy. It was a big deal to go to a game. Now it's I get friends and family text me hey, I'm going to a Warriors game playing the Pelicans. You think any of these guys are playing? And it'll be Steph's resting, AD's resting, and you just get screwed. That didn't happen as much back in the day, non-injuries. And that's what I think Adam Silver needs to stop worrying about the owners, calling them governors, and worry about that. Worry about your consumer not being turned off. Worry about giving the best product possible. It is the load management era. And I understand it with, Kawhi, but it's bad for a lot of players. It really is. Other than that, it's about all I got for today. I begged to go to Kobe games. I got to see Kobe probably 3 times when I was in high school. A playoff game once against the Kings. I think a Christmas Day game against the Kings with Shaq was pretty sweet. You know the irony about when I saw Kobe, it was Shaq's team. The Kings had no answer for Shaq. I mean, Kobe was good, but like they could throw. Doug Christie could check him. I mean, try to. Doug was like the Draymond Green of guards, but they couldn't do anything with Shaq because Lonnie couldn't cover him. Weber couldn't cover him. They didn't have any backups that could stop him. He was unstoppable. I always defend Shaq this way. Let's not forget his career. For my life, growing up in Davis, California, being that Kings team was one of my favorite teams I've ever rooted for. Like the 99 through like 2003 teams. It was Shaq. They couldn't stop Shaq. Like they could handle Kobe. I think we forget that. Scott Pollard used to get destroyed. Scott, there's nothing you could do. I mean, he was just 340 pounds of absolute ass kicker. I think Weber's pretty overrated. They couldn't stop Donaghy either? No, they couldn't. That's one of the last books I've read. I do a lot of book on tape now, millennial. But I actually have it right here. This is a good book. It's like 250 pages. Personal foul, Tim Donaghy. Maybe it was a little different because I lived in Philly, and we used to put our players up. I would imagine they still do at the Airport Marriott, and that's where he used to meet the mob to get his instructions at the Airport Marriott. So it was pretty cool. This is a good book. I would recommend this book if you just want a good read. If you like the mob and the NBA, you want to be entertained. This is a good read. I would be a millionaire if I was an NBA ref. Me too. That's a good question. I would imagine he was making from the NBA $200,000 or $300,000. I think it says that. That's the hard part. It's hard to believe. He claims he wasn't making that much money. I would imagine he was making a couple $100,000 on the side for the mob, and they were gambling a shitload. Went to the range yesterday. Hit it pretty good. My old driver went like 280. This 285. This one goes about $3 and just fucking. Whoosh, whoosh. I love being deep. I'm not going to watch the NBA awards tonight, no. Refuse. I mean, it's June 24th. What are we doing? NBA awards tonight? Whose ideas are these? For being progressive and having all these smart people, where does the NBA get their ideas? It's June 24th. You're going to announce the MVP tonight? What are they doing? Come on. Whose ideas are these? I just don't get it. People think I'm a hater, but it's June 24th. Remember when David Robinson or Michael Jordan or Steph Curry, they used to get the award after the first round so that you would get to celebrate on your home court? That's pretty good. I refuse to watch the new Chucky movie. No, it doesn't. You got a lot of ideas coming out of committees and progressive people that constantly screw up. I saw that. Fine Dolan today, $50K. What are we doing? I might have to go to Summer League and Sac, yeah. That's not a bad idea. I got SeatGeeks back on board here in the fall. Promo code HAM. SeatGeek promo code HAM. If the Pelicans are there, I'm there. I think Mad Bum gets traded probably, yeah. I would imagine, yes. Okay, adios. Peace be with you. Stream me on YouTube. Stop my streaming on YouTube. I'm out. Godspeed. 3 and Out podcast. Haberman Middlekauff podcast out right now. Peter Schrager, NFL Network. Daniel Jeremiah Wednesday. 3 and Out podcast. Ease Wellness. EaseWellness.com. Promo code HAM. EaseWellness.com. Promo code HAM. EaseWellness.com. Promo code HAM. HairClub.com/ham. HairClub.com/ham. Am I missing something? Oh, sleepnumber.com. You want to get a bed? Sleepnumber.com/ham. Sleepnumber.com/ham. Go get it. I'm a giver.